Testing, one, two, testing. Welcome to another episode of Jazzy Talk, episode Lucky 13. Tonight we got a special episode. I have with me fellow Jazzy Circuit board member, Katie Alpha from the Houston Third Strike scene, who will also be one of the TOs alongside DJ Isco running the Jazzy Auto-Qualifier for the first time ever at the iconic Arcade UFO. And so I thought, hey, let's go ahead and have Katie, one of the TOs of the event, come on the show for this week and talk a little bit about that event. And so, well, welcome to the show, Katie. Thanks for
Yo,
stopping by.
thank you for having me on, dude.
And so I just wanted to begin the stream by pointing out that throw over your couch.
Oh, you like this?
Yeah, that looks super
That was
warm.
a gift from one of my wife's friends, and it's super hippie. So it's like earth, water, fire, air, and then like a pentagram. So that's cool.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, is that a pentagram?
It is, dude.
I
We
like
only
it.
worship one god in this house.
What curses are you stirring up in that house? What voodoo
Let's just
dolls do you have?
let's just say this is what is right behind me when I'm playing on 5K. So it explains all my luck.
Players who are participating in Jazzy think that their actual play is determining the results, but
Um,
it's actually Katie in his apartment praying to the
yeah.
devil,
Well, I mean,
hoping that some players lose and some players
I got a
win.
lot of money on the line with the DraftKings, dude. You know, the Jazzy DraftKings
People
are,
bet on Jazzy?
dog, you would be surprised.
Yeah, that's news to me. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about Arcade UFO. Um, Man, well, what else is there to say about Arcade UFO? It's changed the venues. No longer at the original venue near the university.
Hmm.
Now at a new, more spacious venue, I heard. And
Bigger, yeah, for
so,
sure.
a lot of the machines are still there. So, like, the spirit of Arcade UFO lives on. So yeah, Katie, tell us a little bit about, you know, the event and what people can expect from the first ever Jazzy Auto-Qualifier at UFO.
So, you know, Texas, longtime Third Strike scene, but mostly just Arcade UFO in Austin, Texas. They have a deep and rich history of Third Strike in that area. A lot of great players, all the way from like Fubar Duck and Mopreem and Shen Chang and all those guys. And even before them, like there was a guy named Jack who was like a really strong Ibuki in the area, that taught a lot of players. You know, to even now, like you've got obviously Luke, you've got Marcus, you've got Tommy Two Step, you've got DJ Isco. Uh, there's no shortage of players there, and you know we were excited to be able to bring an auto qual finally to UFO, and in particular just because like the space is bigger now. Like the place actually can hold a decent auto qualifier, and it's kind of been an idea of ours for a long time to hold a big event at UFO. But the problem was with the previous space. One parking situation was not great. You basically had four spots. It was right next to a corner store and a bar, but there's really not a whole lot of space in that area. And then like it was super hot in there. You had the DDR machine literally right behind you while you're playing.
The DDR
So
machine is always next to the Third Strike machine.
dude, I don't
It
know
was the same
why.
way at Chinatown Fair.
It's fucking cursed, dude. It was so hard to the point where like, the players there would rock, paper, scissors for one piece side, so they weren't right next to the machine. It's so loud, it's set to max volume. It feels like you can feel every step from the players, but obviously they've been running Third Strike tournaments for a long time, and we're excited to be able to bring this event. There's a lot to look forward to for this one. Obviously, all of the scenes have been traveling now. Houston's been traveling for a little while. Dallas has been like traveling like crazy. And shout outs to Wax, who's been going everywhere and doing everything as far as Third Strike is concerned. Not just Jazzy, he's just running basically anywhere that is running Third Strike. He's trying to visit and go play Third Strike. So shout outs to Wax. And there's probably going to be some strong players there. Obviously the Austin area players will probably show up there. So, Luke, Tommy, Marcus, DJ Isco, Kev, Kenny, And
Well,
then you've
DJ
got,
Isco better be there.
well, I hope so. He's helping me run it. I hope so. He's there.
Shout outs to Rico in the chat.
And then I know we've got Big Nasty, Face, Jay Win, Gib Crumb. All
Big
the Houston
Mark,
guys are, yeah, Big Mark is going to go out and compete out
amazing
there.
artist, by the way.
Yes, can't
Big
wait
Mark.
to see more Big Mark art.
Big Mark art is different. Can we do a little story time, Katie? Because you're on the show, and I'm not getting any younger, and so who knows when we'll be able to tell these stories. But you were just talking about the former venue for Arcade UFO, and I don't know why. Like, looking back on it, like, it really, like, this is something that I don't think I've ever told the board, but like, I was a little bit upset during that event, or during that weekend. And the weekend I'm referring to is the Jazzy Invitational. And so remember, we had to cut season 2 short. And so we decided, hey, at the height of Omicron, let's do this invitational where we're going to invite some players.
Third strike. We got to finish it.
Yeah. So we were originally going to do it again at Free Play, but we thought because of the situation, it would be a waste, and that maybe we could do something different. And so, just like with a lot of things in Jazzy, I just X-copy stuff from Marvel. I know that at the time,
it works.
And it works. At the time, people should X-copy Marvel more. And so Marvel ran their I already forgot what it was called. They ran that event. Basically, it was just they all went to someone's house. I think they all went to Chris Matrix's house.
Was it the Curly Circuit?
Yeah, that was something before, but I'm referring
to
something else, and I forgot the name now. This is how old I am now. But they ran like a single day. It was like an invitational to like only people were invited, like top Marvel heads. And so I thought, hey, we could do something similar for Jazzy. And so the Jazzy Invitational was born. And one thing that other people may not know is that we invited a lot of people.
Dude,
and a lot of people declined, and understandably so. No,
it's a pandemic.
Definitely understand. But those who did accept, again, just want to send a shout out to all the players who came during that invitational. Looking back on it, it was a pretty crazy thing to do. But the reason why I bring it up is because when we were planning the event, like, especially me, like, we were like talking about like, okay, how do we do, like, because every detail we agonized over, because a lot of us had more time back then because of the pandemic and lockdown. And so we were thinking, okay, what's the best way to do this safely? Like, how many players should we invite? What venue do we go with? We ultimately went with Texas Gamers Lounge, RIP Texas Gamers Lounge.
What an amazing venue.
Shout outs to Imran. He does his arcade auctions on Facebook. Definitely check that out. Texas Gamer Lounge, TGL. But we settled on TGL because, it was a pretty spacious. We could spread things out and everything. Then you guys decide to run a 2v2 tournament the night before at UFO.
Hold on. Okay, so in my defense, when you say you guys,
which just absolutely just threw everything pointless, right? Like, we were planning for the Super Face event, and then you guys just ended up all being packed. I went there, and I was so mad.
I was there.
I was so mad. I was like, I looked in there. I think I shook like 5 Star's hand and Steelhammer's hand, and then I bounced. I'm like, what was the whole point of this?
It was deep.
And so the Arcade UFO, the night before the invitation.
What did they call it? Social distancing? That shit did not exist at UFO.
You guys were too hungry. You guys were too hungry. You couldn't wait. You couldn't wait.
There were some amazing matches that were played that night.
There were. Yeah.
It was good. And I mean, like, that's how you know the third strike scene is different, dude. Not even a global pandemic can keep us from competing with each other. Like, we really wanted to do it. And, it's one of those things that, like, one day, I don't know if it's going to happen, but one day if someone ever does like a deep dive on Jazzy and wants to like really look into like the weird stuff that had happened, season 2 had a lot of weird stuff that was like really interesting. But to me, that's like, I love every season, but that's like my favorite season so far. And my favorite event was the Invitational, just because of like the circumstance.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to replicate that, like where the world is literally locked down and we met in an arcade in the middle of Texas in the middle of summer just to fucking play Third Strike.
I think back on the players that were there. Just who's who list. Issei, 5-star, Sherwin, Steelhammer, Tommy Two Step, uh, Frankie BFG,
Yep.
Hold That, Revival,
Shotokan, Dagger
Part
G.
2, Dagger G, Shotokan, uh, uh, the Chun player from
Carapom?
Chicago.
Carapom was
Carapom,
there.
Ben was there.
Al, Ryan, the champion
Al
was
was there. Ryan was there.
Yeah, it was
Yuki,
insane.
was Yuki there?
Yeah, Yuki, I believe was there.
Yeah, Yuki was there. Oh my god, I can't believe I forgot to mention Yuki. Just think about, go to YouTube, check out that VOD for the Invitational.
It was insane.
Because, like, I don't think the Third Strike scene had ever kind of done something like that.
Not during a pandemic, at least.
So yeah, but it was just funny because you were mentioning UFO, the old venue, and how small it was, and I was just so tight because I was like, we put in all this work to try to make the event safe, and y'all just decided to have a 2v2 tournament in a sardine can.
Yeah, I would be remiss if I didn't mention Hold That because he placed so high in that tournament. Rennick was there. Rennick was awesome.
There. Oh my gosh, Rennick was there. I forgot Rennick was there.
It was an insane event, dude. I love that event. Like it was awesome, and it was just a kind of like a showcase of the dedication of everyone had for Third Strike in that moment.
Yeah.
Kenan Black.
Kenan Black was there. Yeah.
There were so many players.
Wax
dude.
was there. Wax was there.
Wax was there.
Was there. Alex the Machine was there. Was Alex the Machine there?
Alex the Machine. Yeah. It's Big
Marcus.
Nasty.
Luke was there.
Luke.
Big Nasty was there.
Gnarl,
yeah,
FM1.
Big Nasty was Big Nasty
of course.
there?
Nasty was not only there, but he napped.
That's right.
Duralath was there. He played a set with Duralath.
Duralath was there. Oh my god, Duralath was there.
Yeah. Yes. The voice of Jazzy.
Yeah. It's just weird because when you're in the shit, right, and you're like running it, like you never really get a chance to
yeah, for sure.
Recognize just how like
it definitely hit me after.
Yeah. It's just hitting me now 3 years later. Yeah. it takes me a little long on the upkeep,
Yeah, I think
but eventually I
think once we came back, like me and my wife drove back, and once we got back to Houston, she was like, "Y'all are fucking crazy." And I was like, we might be.
And shout outs to Imran, man. Imran was just
such a real one, dude. One of my favorite people that we've ever worked with. He was so welcoming and so forthcoming with everything. That guy was about it. Like he wanted to make the event work just as much as we did. So big shout outs to him.
Yeah, I think that was like a follow or something. Oh, there you go. Dabs and Cabs, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it.
Shout outs Dabs and Cabs.
Yeah, keeping the Third Strike scene alive out in Cali. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of talk about that team tournament. And you're right. You said that there were some godlike matches at that team tournament.
Dude,
none of it, of course, was streamed. None of it was recorded.
That I saw that weekend that were so insane that to this day, they're some of the best matches I've ever seen. And the only people that would know about them were the people that were there, which is, a shame in one way, but it also makes it special in another way. So
Juan, FM1 was there.
Yeah,
I knew
Juan
we
was
would
there,
forget a name. Rico.
Wano.
I knew we would forget another name. Wano was there. Eat was there.
Edu.
Oh man,
dude, Eat played the set of his life versus Neiman.
Oh wow, that was so close.
It was an insane set.
Yeah,
dude. So,
imagine that timeline.
Dude, if he wins, that's one of those what ifs.
Imagine that timeline.
Yeah, man, it was just cool to have not just the level of play, because everyone was pretty focused. I mean, what else could we do? There was nothing else going on, man. We had was Third Strike at the time, so everyone was locked in, everyone was grinding, everyone was playing and trying to win. And Flannel Jack was there. I'm just remembering.
Flannel Jack was there. Oh, I forgot Flannel Jack was there.
And it was a very unique experience, man. I'm glad that we're finally going to come back to Austin. I don't think we've had a big event in Austin since then. So, we're going to come back and bring it to UFO just to bring it back around. And, I'm excited that we're in a new space. The building can now do justice for the event that we want to do. And with that, all those players that I mentioned, Big Nasty, Luke, Yuki, Lance, I expect all those guys to be there. I know that a few of them have already signed up. We've got last I checked, I think we had like 11 signups. We are at a 48 player cap, so I would encourage people to sign up before the actual day of the event, which is Saturday, March 16th. So Friday, March 15th, please sign up if you are planning on being at the event to compete. Um, I I believe we're not taking any on site. So I know a lot of Third Strike players like to do things last second. If you're dead set on trying to do things last second, please register by no later than midnight or like 11:59. I think is the cutoff for signups on Friday, March 15th. It is going to be an amazing tournament. I expect the competition level to be very high. I know a lot of people have been grinding, a lot of people have been traveling. Dallas has told me that they're going to show up in force, and I totally believe them because all those guys are about it right now. If you go and watch the Arcade streams, they had one just a couple days ago, and they've got so many people grinding out there. Hearst is like, I think I think people understand that Texas is a big state, and I think people understand that like stuff is spread out. But I don't think people quite understand how far Hearst is from Dallas. Hearst is like nowhere near Dallas, dude. It's a drive. So for all those people to continually make that drive to go and support Arcade, to go and be part of that Third Strike scene and keep that culture alive, shows the dedication that they're at right now. And all those players are continually grinding. I expect them to show up and do good at the event. And then
They also have
Wax,
free play. Free play
yeah,
has been doing ranking events again this season too. And so shout outs to free play, longtime partner of
and they're
Jazzy.
going out to that too. They're
Yeah.
grinding there as well. So I know Wax has already signed up. He's fresh off of his amazing set and run at the AZ
Yeah.
Auto-Qualifier just a couple weeks ago.
That was a great grand finals, yeah.
Dude, when he got to grands with Neiman, I was like, dude, the way he's playing right now, like he could actually take this. Which I think caught a lot of people off guard. I don't think people were really counting on Wax to make it to Grand, so he killed it, and shout outs to him. But he'll be at the auto qual this next weekend too, so maybe this will be the one that he takes.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see all the high level matches there. In addition to that, do have a couple of announcements. One is my favorite. This is my favorite thing that's gonna happen this event, which is Big Nasty himself is going to cater the event with tamales that he's making, dude.
Nasty
He's gonna
tamales.
nasty tamales. If you guys have ever had tamales, you've never had nasty
You have never
tamales.
had nasty ones.
He's gonna bring it. I guess from Houston. He's gonna come and bring all of the tamales that he's making. So shout outs to Big Nasty, who offered to cater for the event. He's gonna be bringing some tamales de puerco, de pollo, and de dulce. So for those of you guys that have never had like uh, the sweet, the dessert tamales, he's gonna bring like some strawberry and raisin tamales, and it'll be a good variety there. I've never had his tamales, but he was talking about like these are not like baby tamales; these are like legit, like good sized tamales. So there should be enough for everybody there. So shout outs to Big Nasty for that. And then the other thing is that we are going to have a sponsor on site. One of the local players from the area, this guy named Yao K. Um, got introduced to him through Venka and the Venka Bot channel. Shout outs to Venka. And he's going to basically be there with his local business, Baked by McKinney. They are basically a cookies and baked goods company. It's a very small company. I believe it's just him and his wife. So he'll be on site doing some vending and participating in the event well, I believe. So we're gonna have sweets there. We're gonna have some tamales there. It's gonna be. I mean, if you guys ever come to Austin for Third Strike, you already know what it is. Those guys like to have a good time, and there will be there'll be plenty of other things going on aside from just Third Strike. So I encourage everyone if they want to come out to sign up for the event, you can go to start.gg/Jazzy UFO. As the URL sets right there. And actually, it's so sick that we have QR codes. You guys don't know how useful that is. If you guys can just like scan it with your phone, it brings you right to the site, and then you can sign up right there. We are expecting to.
You could teach a
Um,
boomer new tricks,
hey,
Katie.
listen, man. We're expecting people to show up and show out at this event. I'm really, To the point to
I
where
didn't know
like,
about QR codes until during the pandemic. So
dog, I'm gonna keep it real. I'm about to be super real on this podcast, man. I have not really been playing Third Strike like that. Last year, I kind of died down a little bit on my competitiveness. But because I know this event was coming up and I was gonna be there, and I know that all these players have been grinding, dude. They've just been getting better and better. I was like, oh man, I don't want to get blown up, dude. So I've been grinding, man. I've been on Fightcade. I turned on my ranked matches. I've been playing everybody. And I've just been trying to get as much experience as I can while I'm like working like crazy hours too, so that I don't get blown up. Like if I come across wax, I don't want to get freed up, dude.
Wax beat
I
you at
know
the auto
he did.
qualifier
He
Game of
did.
Dreams
Yeah,
last season.
the last time he beat me. So I'm like, all right, I gotta train up for this now. I can't just like walk in and fucking TO and take a top 8. So I'm I'm training up for it just to let people know I don't want to be a free win on the bracket. And I expect Rico to do the same. Rico and I are not going to be free wins, even though we're running the event. We're gonna try and make it competitive.
Got to make them work.
Um,
That's all we can expect.
that's all we can do,
Make
dude.
them work.
At this age, anyway.
Make them work. So yeah, shout outs to Baked by McKinney. This is their
Yes.
website. And maybe Katie, if you can just plug in the website in the chat when you get a chance.
Yeah.
And so this is their website. And Baked by McKinney is a bit of a unique company, a unique operation. They're very conscious about trying to give back to communities. And so all of the cookies they sell, a portion of it gets reinvested back into, again, different causes. And so if you want to learn more about Baked by McKinney, just head over to their website. Let me go ahead and see what the URL is again.
It's
It's
McKinneymakes.com.
McKinney Makes. Yeah,
Yeah.
McKinneymakes.com. And so definitely check out their products. You can get gourmet cookies. I'm looking at these cookies. I'm getting a little
Yeah,
jelly,
bro.
Katie, because
I'm gonna pick some up for sure while I'm at the event. It's gonna happen. And if you
wow.
guys
Whew.
see his name is Ron. He goes by Yeah, okay. If you see him out there, just talk to him.
And of
Feel free
course,
to reach out
at
to him.
the end of the day, he's a Third Strike player, right?
Yes,
That's what we
man.
do here at Jazzy, trying to support the Third Strike players and their businesses. And so, shout outs to Yeah Okay, for again, partnering up with us to have some cookies at Arcade UFO. Man, these cookies are
Hell yeah, dude.
damn.
I'm ready. I'm ready
Damn.
for this. And then some tamale. I might not play well at all. Now that I'm looking at
You have
I'm gonna get bodied by
considering how
tamales and
godlike
cookies, dude.
the auto qualifier was at Game of Dreams, and again, just was so bummed out that I wasn't able to go. But shout outs to the Cactus League and Arliath and DJ Isco for holding that event down. They had a taco truck courtesy of Ray Ramos.
That's godlike.
So like, I mean, UFO has to bring it with the tamales and the cookies if we're trying to follow that up. And so
Yep.
yeah, shout outs to Cactus League again for running a great auto qualifier. And of course, congratulations to Neem for punching his
Yes.
ticket. First
Much
ever,
deserved.
I believe this is his first ever finalist.
Well, no. So,
Yeah,
I don't know if we count season 2 because season 2 he was invited,
he
right?
was
And I think
invited. So this is actually
yeah,
the first time he's ever qualified
yeah, via the
for
season.
yeah, and so awesome. Man, I can't
Yeah,
lie.
and
These cookies are looking.
yeah, and then much deserved for Dean too, because like he was already grinding on the online leaderboard, so he was like in a top 2 position. It was basically just him and Nika and everybody else. But now that he's taking the auto qualifier spot, that frees up a spot on the online leaderboard. So shout outs to Neem once again for going out there and competing.
Yeah, and you got custom cookies. I mean, this is a great gift idea. I know a lot of Thirst Strike players. They're married now, or
Yeah,
they got
man.
partners,
Especially if you're in Texas, go support
kids.
the homie. It's a
Yeah,
local business. It's a Third Strike player. They're trying to do things the right way, and we're trying to support them. Obviously, they're supporting the circuit, so
yeah.
make sure that you guys show them some love when you see them at the event,
Dude, this pineapple habanero baked.
bro. You
I'm
gotta stop, Mutant.
We're not even talking about Thirst Strike anymore.
Dude,
We're just
you
looking
guys
at these
don't know.
cookies.
You guys don't know, but like Mutant's superpower is even if you're not hungry, like once he starts talking about food, it's done, dude. You're gonna get hungry. It's gonna happen.
It's done. All y'all are gonna get cookies after this
Yep.
podcast. So
I have cookies in my fridge right now. I got some
yeah.
lemon iced what are those lemon shortbreads at the Girl Scout cookies? I got
Mhm.
those sitting in the fridge. I'm about to go get some in a sec.
Yeah, I got some of those Tates, the
Oh,
the
which
the thin
ones?
cookies.
Yeah.
I
But which
got
one?
me let's see, what do I got me? I got me the butter cookies, I think. What is it
Ooh,
called?
okay.
The butter crunch cookies. Sarah likes
Tates are legit.
the chocolate and walnut. Shout
Yep.
outs to Frankie BFG for turning me on to those Tate
Oh hell
cookies.
yeah. Those things are
I
awesome.
was
Yeah.
like,
You
this
guys have
box of
Tates in your
cookies is
area?
$7. I
Nah,
mean,
you
and
gotta
then
try it, bro.
Frankie was like, no, you gotta try it, and
Hmm.
now it's
And now you
done.
know.
Now it's yeah. So yeah, let's try to put the podcast back on topic here and talk a little bit Third Strike. We're only running a circuit, season 5 of the Jazzy Circuit,
I like Third
25th
Strike
anniversary of Third Strike.
a little bit.
But I'm glad we did a little story time talking about the Invitational. Maybe we'll do more of that, in future Jazzy Talks, especially as the finale gets close. But what are your thoughts on season 5? I mean, this is,
Dude,
we're still around,
okay.
we're still doing it, and
Yeah,
so
that is amazing in and of itself because I would like, that
yeah,
I didn't know that we would ever make it here, but shout outs to everyone for their support and allowing us to make it
wow,
this far.
yeah,
But dude, so season one felt like a lot, right? It was a long season. How long? Almost 9 months. Did we
something like
carry like
8 months or something,
It
yeah,
was like a full term baby that we,
yeah.
we bred the season, and
It
then
took like 2 months for anyone to know that Jazzy even existed in season
yeah,
one.
and then
So
it
yeah,
wasn't really until Frosty, and then like season two, we had a lot of momentum. COVID hit, unfortunate circumstances. We did the Invitational. Season three was a little more abbreviated because it was all auto quals.
hmm
Season four was like pretty good. Like we had a good rhythm. We are able to like keep things on a schedule, and from a an organizational standpoint, like it felt like we hit a good rhythm with season four, and we were able to keep up with things. I cannot keep up with season five. There's too much going on. There's online events, there's offline events, there's auto quals. People are just running third strike all the time everywhere, and that's a beautiful thing. See, it's beautiful to see, but it's hard for me to keep up with it because like there's streams all the time now, and there's events all the time. So just the other day, I watched the Richmond, Virginia stream over that Flannel Jack ran, and immediately after that, there was another stream for another event. I was like, I didn't even know there was another event today, but
yeah,
there were plenty of events running that day. You've got UT Station. You've got they're plans to do stuff at Xanadu. There's all this stuff in the works, and there's so many things that are like happening Jazzy related that it's honestly amazing to see because like, for the longest time it was us like pushing people to do things, just trying to guide people and help them. And it seems like a lot of people have taken that initiative and now are doing things on their own, which is what the circuit is really about. It's about helping people try and make Third Strike happen if they want it to happen. And wherever there's people that want to play Third Strike, we're there to help them. But now there are so many, events that are almost self-sufficient. They almost don't even like need our help. So that's awesome in that regard too, because it feels like we did a good job of making sure that we, put people in positions to be able to do those things. And then you have half the circuit, which is Flannel Jack. So shout outs to Flannel Jack, who's literally running everything. This
yeah.
guy is
But that's kind
everywhere
of how the circuit is designed, right? Like,
dude, I'm
there's
all about it,
a
man.
reason why there are multiple ways to qualify. And with regards to the ranking event, again, we have tried to keep the bar, pretty reasonable as far as getting your events sanctioned for Jazzy points. And so when people see again a scene like North Carolina just having events week after week. Because remember that for the first couple seasons, it was we were really kind of trying. We were really concerned with trying to like preemptively address issues, and so like we would, we had like a cap, we had
We had a lot of rules,
we had
dude. We
like a
had a lot of
mile
rules.
radius or something that we knew would be like impossible to enforce, but we were
Yeah,
just starting out, so but like then we just kind of took the shackles off, I think last season, and we said, you know what,
let him run
oh,
it.
just
And
let
then
him
we
run it.
really did that this season, and then we're
Yeah,
like,
and we didn't go quite that far because we were thinking of doing it for online, but I'm glad that we kind of did this
yeah,
trial run first. But because again, everyone has different opinions on the third strike scene and how it should be. But if you're part of Jazzy, then the mission is simple: get more people to play third strike.
more third
If
strike.
you keep it simple, and you just like remember like why Jazzy even exists, then that is what it is. And I encourage a lot of scenes, especially scenes who are looking at really active scenes like Texas and North Carolina, and Chicago. Reach out to us. Let's have a
That's what
conversation.
we're
Let's
here
see how
for.
you can get Third Strike up and running. You mentioned Xanadu, longtime FGC venue. And so really glad to see the DMV getting back into competitive
Yes.
Third Strike.
Even
And
Florida,
so
like Florida's
yeah,
starting to have events. Atlanta's starting to have events.
yeah. Shout outs to
It
Max Mode. I
Yeah,
know that
Data
that's coming up
FGC,
soon.
all those guys.
Yeah,
Like
they're
I
Third
feel
Strike
like,
players, man. And that's awesome. So
Roshi and Mayday Productions, all those guys, like I've known those guys for a long time now, and it's just awesome to finally see them be able to like put all of their efforts, and it really is collective effort. They're collective efforts
yeah,
to make these events happen. And part of that is I feel like the influence of Jazzy. I don't want to pat our backs too hard, but I feel like just showing people that like, hey man, if you're really about it, you can make it happen. If you need some help, if there are some resources that you need, then reach out to us. That's kind of what
yeah,
we're here for, is just to try and help people bring Third Strike wherever they want to have Third Strike. And
yeah.
the fact that it's showing up in all these different places now is a beautiful thing to see. Like, dude, Neko Dojo in Kent,
Yeah,
Mustard Pack.
Pacific Northwest, Fight
Come on,
Kingdom.
man.
We got Indiana again coming back strong after their
Yes.
their auto qual during season 3 boss battle games. One of my favorite arcade venues uh, in the entire country, simply because it's in a mall.
Hell yeah. Does it
Those
have like
mall arcades hit different, Katie.
does it have the cheap Chinese in the mall?
Oh, it was bad though. It was bad.
No?
It wasn't good. What's
Oh,
funny is
that's
that
a shame.
Sarah went to go eat first, but then I didn't ask her because I was just so hungry. So I went afterwards, and then after I met up with her, she was
You
like,
got
"You didn't try the
bodied.
Chinese food, did you?" And I was like, "Yeah, I did. It was bad, right?" Like, oh man. Yeah. So that was the
Damn.
only disappointment. But that's out of boss battle games, hand. They're not
Yeah,
running.
yeah,
They're not running the teriyaki chicken spot at the food court. you know. But hopefully they step up their mall Chinese food game.
yeah.
Because I'm always down for some bourbon chicken. See,
Hey,
I'm talking
listen,
about
bro.
food again, Katie.
I
This
already
is
know.
this
I already
is
knew.
this is why were we even talking about that?
Acting
Yeah,
like mall Chinese, yo. There have been some godlike mall
yo,
Chinese
mall
spots I've been
Chinese
to.
food, if it's done right,
Godlike, and
chef's
it's the
kiss.
right price too. It's always like eight
Oh
or nine
man,
bucks.
and they always give you
You get
so
a
much.
Yes, you get a
I
ton
always
of
get the
food.
half and half. Got to get the
Yes,
noodles and the fried rice, and
yes.
give me some of that
That's my culture,
sriracha on the
dog.
side.
I already know, dog. I already know.
And so back to the circuit. Yeah, like again, I encourage a lot of scenes. Hey, start Third Strike. Just because again, when it comes to ranking events, we've really kind of tried to lower the bar a little bit, right? Like at first, you had to have like 16 players, then we dropped it down to 12, and now it's just 8. If you can get 8 players to compete, run a tournament, you can get Jazzy points. And again, I know that people are concerned about things like point farming or whatever, but let's kind of keep things in perspective. Okay, we're not melee. I mean, we're not like that big of a
Thank
scene.
God.
So okay, well, the views of Katie Alpha do not reflect those of the Jazzy Circuit. Where's the command?
There
I
it
think it's
is.
exclamation. Yeah, there it goes. There it is. Um, but yeah, I think I don't. Yeah, like I think you and me are in agreement, Katie. Like, because I remember, not to get too much into this, but there was some talk among some people in the Third Strike scene on how maybe there were too many tournaments for Third Strike,
Which
and
is
like I never
what a
really
crazy
understood
statement.
that
What a
opinion.
crazy statement.
Right? Like I never really understood that. I mean,
It's
if
just such
if
a shame.
mainstream FGC games, if mainstream fighting games are struggling to get exposure, like what they did at Times Square, the Red Bull,
Yeah,
what they did at Times Square is a really big thing. But like to say that about a game as niche and
that's Third Strike.
as
Yeah.
Third Strike, it doesn't make sense. I think again whether the tournaments at at Evolution or Bob's Barn in in wherever Idaho or whatever.
Yeah,
I
man.
don't want to. Sorry about calling out people from Idaho, but there's got to be Third Strike players that play in Idaho.
There's
So
one I know
yeah,
of. There's God, what was that guy's name? He was from Nebraska, and then he moved over there. Endgamer, I think, is out there in Idaho now.
And Gamer K. Yeah, like I said,
Yeah.
just it would be cool to see Third Strike everywhere because we love the game. We think the game's the greatest. Again, everyone has different opinions, but I think the game. I know we've been kind of patting ourselves on the back a little bit during this podcast, Katie. I know you enjoy
Sometimes you got to
that.
take a victory lap, dog. Come on, bro.
No, I
After
mean,
how many years? After how many? We
um,
could do one
see, that's the thing, man.
victory
You know
lap.
me. You know me how I stay humble. I just kind of like we were saying before. Like anytime I think of Jazzy, I think if anything, if people see us and go, "Wow, those guys were able to do
That's what I'm saying.
that,"
Us?
if we were
Us?
like, that's kind of my default. But yeah, like I was talking about with Jazzy, just I think more tournaments. I think more people playing the game is cool. I
Yeah.
don't
I
really
mean,
see any problem with that.
I mean, like for those that know my backstory, right? Like I didn't have a scene when I first
Yeah,
started playing Third Strike, and it was rough to try and make tournaments happen by myself. So the fact that there's all these events now, there's not like if you're in North Carolina or if you're over on like the southeast area, like you don't have to worry about, oh man, am I gonna have to acquire equipment? How do I build a
yeah.
scene? Like
There's
how
a
do I get
difference
people
between
interested?
finding or discovering a third strike scene and creating
Yes.
one.
And creating one, and it's much
Yeah,
tougher to do the latter than the former. So for me, just the fact that there's plenty of venues, like even venues that aren't currently running events, like Dawns, right? Like they're still hosting events. They're still, I
yeah,
mean, they're still having people over and playing games, and just that is enough. Just the fact that people are still supporting the game, they're still playing it. I know there's a place in NorCal. I don't know if it
stuck a
has an
free
official name.
arcade.
Yeah, they have an 3 head-to-heads up there. Neiman plays up there, and the fact that these places exist, and there's the possibility to have events there is something that I think I would have killed for. When I was coming up and I was looking around because I've had this talk with GK before, but we when we first met, we had like a sit down and we kind of just talked about our experiences in the scene. And one of the things that he brought up was just like the only people doing anything was tits. Like this is Third Strike, New York guys. And I had the same experience when I was coming up and I was looking around for events. The only thing that was happening was on the East Coast. So if you weren't on the East Coast, kind of SOL. So the fact that there's all this now, and there's so many different places to play, so many different players, and then every scene now has a like every scene now has like a dedicated core of players that you can go, even if you're not running an event. Like for example, Kodama, he's traveled from I think Arizona, from Houston, from Dallas, from Austin in the last month alone. And he was able to go and get casuals with a bunch of different players and have a bunch of different experiences. And just the fact that he was able to do that now, as opposed to what maybe when I wasn't, when I was first coming into the scene, I felt like 10 years ago that would have never been a thing. He would have never been able to come to Houston because there was nobody playing the game. Dallas, there was nobody playing the game. Austin, there might be like 4 dudes that show up. And then AZ, I don't even know if anyone was even out there at that time. So the fact that like he can go to these different scenes now and just go get these games and be able to go and hang out with people, not even for an event, just to play Third Strike. I think that's a great thing. And if it turns into the fact that those players then want to start having events, and those players want to have event here and an event there, the more venues that you have and the more avenues that you have to be able to have events, I feel like you're in a very fortunate position. And you should take advantage of that, and you should go out and support those things. Whenever someone like GK is running an event, or if it's Data FGC, or if it's Southeast Throwdown with Jimbo in the chat here, those guys are putting in real work, and those guys are dedicated, and they're doing it so that everyone has a place to play and everyone has something to play for, which is something that I think is at the core of what Jazzy wants. Jazzy wants there to be a reason to play the game and to keep it alive. So shout out to all those guys that are doing the work out there.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So yeah, like we were talking about with season 5, a lot of events going on, a busy March. We just
Dude,
got done.
after a busy February.
Yeah, we just got done shilling the Jazzy Auto-Qualifier at UFO, and so here's the Start GG page, and so a few people have signed up. not really too concerned about that. I think like a week out for the auto qualifier, we only had like 20 people signed up for the Cactus League auto qualifier, and I think that event ended up with almost 50.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and so again, shout outs to the Cactus League for hosting another successful Jazzy Auto Qualifier. And so, yeah, all eyes now are towards the Arcade Auto Qualifier or the Jazzy Auto Qualifier at Arcade UFO, which actually is going to happen on the last day of South by Southwest. And so, something that maybe the viewers don't know, Katie, is that the Jazzy board is pretty musical. You and DJ Isco are musicians.
And even Venka
Yeah,
too.
and Vega too.
Ethan,
Yeah,
Ethan.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I make music, but not the kind of music you think of. But so yeah, like tell me a little bit about just kind of how you see that event going, like in the context of everything that's going on that weekend.
um, Going into Austin, as someone who doesn't live there, even just being from Texas, like our scenes are so spread apart. So Texas is so big that Houston to Austin is at least 3.5 hours of a drive, at least for me. I think with everything that's going on in Austin, it's very easy, especially as a player that may not travel that much, to get lost in essentially what is like Austin culture. They are about their food, they are about their music, and for sure they are about their drinking.
Oh, that barbecue. Whew.
Yeah, the barbecue is amazing out there. The Mexican food is
See, we're talking
amazing out
about food
there.
again. It's just
Dude, I'm just saying, if you come to Austin, just be prepared to have a good time. Like regardless of the event, obviously everyone wants to compete and do well, but aside from that, soak up the experience of being in that environment at that time. South by Southwest is a huge event, and there's going to be tons of people in the city. There's going to be tons of things to do. Maybe the night before, if you guys want to go out to Sixth Street and get insane, I mean, it's going to be a celebration essentially all weekend long. And I encourage people to come out a day before, come out maybe 2 days before, check out the city of Austin if you've never been there. There's plenty to do. Especially that weekend, there's going to be plenty of music to go check out. Austin is known for the music scene in general, but then we also have South by Southwest. I think I remember having a conversation, either it was with you or with Fido, but I heard that he was going to be playing a gig there for
oh
South by
no,
Southwest.
I think that fell through or
Oh,
plans
okay.
changed. But shout outs to Fido. He
Shout
may
out
he
to
may be somewhere else that weekend. Who knows with Fido, the third strike man of mystery.
dude. I would love for that guy to come out to the event, man.
Yeah.
I feel like in general it's going to be a good time, and my expectation for the event is for everyone to have a really good time uh, before and after the tournament, but then to have a really, really competitive tournament. I think the Texas scene in general has been getting better, and like all of the scenes have been
Yeah.
getting better and better and better. And it's funny because I've had this conversation with Rico, and just being real, there was a point in time where it was Austin and there was everyone else. Um, Dallas, even to Houston, was known as like, there's a bunch of free players out there. And then from Austin's perspective, Houston has a bunch of free players as well. And it wasn't really until like the last couple years where, everyone was grinding and everyone was traveling out to the different scenes to try and level up that that perspective has changed now. And I feel like everyone now is sort of on equal footing with the skill level. I think, Dallas has a very large player base, so their skill level has jumped quite a bit because of the amount of players and the amount of grinding that they've done.
Could this be the
Um,
year then, Katie, that with Texas being such a powerhouse for third strike for so long that a Texas player wins the Jazzy Auto Qualifier
I
or
mean,
or
it
excuse me, the Jazzy Championship?
the
Excuse
Jazzy
me.
Championship. So I've heard, and I don't know if this is, I don't know if this is true, but I've heard that Nika is now a Dallas player. So that's who I'm rooting for.
Okay,
That,
whatever.
listen,
So
if
moving
it's not
on.
if it's not Yuki, I mean, Yuki really is, one of the best players in the country and has been for a really long time.
Yeah,
To
yeah.
me, one of the best players I've ever played. So, I always think his chances are great, just because he's an amazing player. Like to the point where honestly, it feels hopeless when you play that guy. If you've played him enough times, it feels like there's almost no hope of beating him. But and I know everyone from Dallas can understand that feeling.
It
But
would be awesome to
I would love for
to
Yuki to
have
take one,
Yuki
man.
get a belt. You
Hell
know,
yeah, dude.
it would be a great cap to a great third strike career. And speaking of again third strike history, part of another reason why we're so happy to be running the auto qualifier at Arcade UFO is again 25th anniversary of Third Strike. I don't think it can be understated how important of a role Texas played in the history of American competitive Third Strike, but in particular Austin.
Yeah, man.
That was, one of the first places where people got to try the game in, dev mode or, in beta mode. Then you kind of mentioned some notable names. It seems like Austin has always had a generation of strong players. We start with, again, the early days with people like Mo Preem and Xian and Haas and, a lot of the other
Shout out
players.
Toss.
Yeah, a lot. And that's the reason why Alex is on the
Dog.
Arcade UFO
No
auto
one like
qualifier.
just a quick little aside. No one knows about Haas anymore, man, and
Yeah,
it's such a shame because that guy. There was a point in time when I was first coming up where he was traveling to every Third Strike event in Texas and winning all of them, and it was
yeah,
free for him. We was doing it with Alex.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I have to tell my story, my Shin Chang story, where I ran into him
Oh, at Coop.
at Coop and I didn't know it was him. And so like
He would be
like
there.
how like someone smiles at you like they think like you know them, right? Like or they
Yeah, yeah.
expect you
You're
to
like,
know
man,
them.
where do I recognize this guy
You
from?
know. But yeah, Austin has had a long history of really high level competitive third strike. And that legacy lives on today with players again like Rico and Luke and Marcus and Tommy and K Reich and again all these players, Kev. We could just sit here and rattle off all these names, and so really excited for the Arcade UFO auto qualifier. It might be some of the highest level Jazzy third strike we've seen so far this season, and so definitely tune in next Saturday, March 16th. Going to be live on a VankaBot stream. Shout outs to the
Shout outs to
god, Vanka
Vanka.
God, for lending us his channel to stream the Jazzy Arcade UFO Auto Qualifier. You may also notice that we're going to be starting to multi-stream a lot more. We're actually streaming Jazzy Talk from multiple platforms tonight. You might be watching us on my Twitch channel, Mutant Experience, or you might be watching us on our Jazzy Twitter channel or on Instagram. We have an Instagram, Katie.
I saw that we were very close to hitting 1,000 followers on Instagram.
Yeah, by doing absolutely nothing. And so that just goes to show the power of like the organic, support for Third Strike. It's such a good game and just really happy that there are going to be more eyes than ever on the game this year. Kind of
Yep,
going back to what we were talking about. The mission of Jazzy is pretty simple. Get more people to play Third Strike.
that's right.
And so if you're on board with that, reach out to us. Let us know how we can help make that happen for you. And so yeah, I thought maybe we could end the stream by kind of taking a look at the standings.
Ooh, I haven't taken a look at him this month. I'm very interested. I know Nika's running online and like it's almost impossible for anyone to catch him, so I
And so
wonder who's in second now.
let's start off with the offline ranking events. The race is getting pretty tight. Flannel
Ooh.
Jack is in the lead currently with 1,850 points. His most recent win is at an event this past weekend. I believe it was called Parry This. And so congrats to Flannel Jack for continuing to grind and to support Third Strike in so many different ways. And then at number 2, this wasn't really on my bingo card, to be honest, Katie, but notice Yogurt Brain is now really trying to secure a position on that in that top 5. And so shout outs to Yogurt Brain, one of our younger up and coming players.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Then we got Lance, a definite mainstay in the Jazzy ranking events. Lance winning events, not just at majors, but also at his locals in the DFW area, which he talked about earlier today or earlier on the show, Katie. And so Lance is coming in at third at 1,400 points, and then we have like for the fourth and fifth spot, we have a lot of players that are separated by only just a few points. Now, remember that we want to disregard Amir because he has already auto-qualified. And
Yeah, he
so
moved
we
Arcade
have
event.
a bunch of players that are all sort of vying for that fourth and fifth spot. And remember, everyone who pre-qualifies or everyone who qualifies prior to the end of the regular season gets complimentary airfare. And so these players are really fighting for something here. And, just to avoid LCQ, because this year LCQ is going to be even tougher
Insane.
with just two
Yeah.
pools and two players getting out of each pool. And so getting that spot in the 16-player Jazzy finale is going to be really important. But yeah, we got in fourth place. We got Troy boy, Jazz or Third
The
Strike New Blood champion.
New blood as a
New Blood
10-year
champion.
vet.
Yeah. So shout out to Troy, representing Southeast Throwdown, who's been streaming and running Jazzy online events for us this season. And they have an offline event coming up. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Then we got Wax. You were just talking about how much Wax is grinding. And so would really love to see Wax,
That's
get
who I'm
into the
rooting
top
for.
5, have all his grinding rewarded.
Yes.
And then we got, like, again, a bunch of players that are just kind of on the cusp, just right outside that top 5. We got Arliath. We got Resolve, who's, again, quietly kind of inching his way towards that top 5 spot. We got Versaga and
Yes.
Yuki and Face. They're all in that 800 point mark. And so, wow, we still got 3 months of Jazzy events left. And so, really looking forward to seeing how the standings start to change or, move, as the season goes on. And so, really excited to, again, see all the players that are on the leaderboard. And, just to have kind of, this on record, right? For so long in the FGC, we haven't, not many scenes have tried to kind of, do something like this as far as, having results and keeping track of points and progress. A lot of that has led to, sometimes less than fruitful conversations, cooler talk
Ooh.
about, who are the top players and so forth and so on. But just aside from that, it's really nice, that Star GG has this league feature that really, any scene could take advantage of. And that's kind of what we did. And so it's great to be able to have these like on record. But yeah, remember that anyone can run a Jazzy ranking event. They just have to follow the terms and conditions, which you can find on our main website. Again, the bar is, I think, set pretty reasonably as far as running Jazzy ranking events. The requirements are, again, pretty basic. You have to run a Jazzy tournament, and then you got to have at least 8 players. It's got to be, standard tournament rules. And so, definitely consider running a Jazzy ranking event. You still have 3 months to sign up and run one and, get some players to play the game.
Dude, we've only done 2 months in season 5, and it feels like we've done so much already.
Yeah, maybe. I guess so.
It's only been 2 months.
Yeah, when I think about it, yeah. Oh. Well, people were talking about a Jazzy draft. I don't know if I shared this idea in a previous podcast.
I don't know. Did
Not
we
that,
talk about this?
not that Jazzy draft.
Okay.
I'm talking about the teams, the draft for the teams.
Okay.
So I think maybe a few Jazzy talks ago, I had brought up this idea of, how like we really want the team tournament to like mean more, and it's always really fun, right? Like last year, the board teamed up. That was really cool, and that was really hype. There were a lot of cool moments during the team tournament. But I think I brought up like the idea of how, hey, maybe we should like, because I know like one of the critiques of the team tournament is that oftentimes the stronger players kind of
It's a
team
little
up.
stacked. Yeah, it's a little stacked.
Yeah, and so we get a lot of stacked teams, and you would think that the players could could police themselves, and decide decide what is best for the scene. But I thought maybe another way to encourage a little bit more parity might be to run even a 3v3. Like, I mean, remember the 3v3 we ran at the end of the finale last weekend?
The
Wax that, and that was
random,
a random one. But
random.
I don't think it's so much like the number, but I thought maybe, hey, a cool idea might be to do like a draft, like, and everyone who's interested or eligible or signed up to go to the Jazzy finale weekend, they could, throw their name in the hat, and then, we could have captains. People sign up as captains, and then they could draft, players from the pool.
I think that'd be a cool idea.
I don't know. I think it's definitely an idea that would need to get fleshed out, but we definitely want to. I've said this so many times on different Jazzy talks, but like, Coop was so amazing, and there's nothing like a team tournament in Third Strike. And
It hits
so,
different. It hits different.
yeah. But yeah, let us know what you think about the team tournament at Jazzy. I know people in the chat like Wax says that maybe we should do 3v3. I mean, whatever. It's it's kind of I don't think that the difference as far as like TO wise is really that much. But I think we'd really like to make the team tournament a little bit more special, and so yeah, we're all
Especially for the 25th. This is
yeah.
the 25th anniversary, so it'd be nice to do it up pretty big and have the team tournament be a little bit more special this year. I feel like the potential is definitely there,
Yeah.
especially with the fact that like everyone is really about Jazzy right now. I think the thing that has me hopeful, and I use that word very rarely, but uh, I've been watching. I may not say it, I may not, mention it to very many people, but I've been watching a lot of these players, especially the newer ones that are traveling. They're traveling for ranking events. Bubbles traveled for a random Dallas ranking event. I know some players that are going to travel for some events in the future. I don't want to blow them up just yet, but the fact that people are traveling for ranking events now. You had Yogurt Brain go out to the indie event, I think like last month, and then you have Kodama going out to different ranking events. I think he was at the Austin one and Dallas one. Just the fact that people are traveling for things now is a very, very good sign, because I think that sort of exposure and that sort of level of dedication is going to pay off when it comes time for the finale. And I think we're gearing up for what's going to be a very, very competitive finale.
Yeah. So speaking of these ranking events, here's again, you can go to jazzycircuit.org for a full schedule of all the Jazzy ranking events that have been announced so far. And like I was saying, Katie, yeah, we did have a busy February, but March is nuts. We have a lot of events going on in March all over the country. Starting this weekend, some really big events going on. 3 big Jazzy ranking events going on this weekend. One in Irvine, California, Contender Coliseum Clash. Boardman will be running his 3rd Jazzy ranking event of the season. So shout outs to Boardman for
Hell yeah.
continuing to grind. And interested to see what platform they're going to use. I think the last few times they used FB Neo. And so we'll see. Right now it's listed as an arcade event. And so we'll definitely get confirmation on what the platform will be. But good to see Third Strike alive and well in Orange County, and looking forward to seeing other SoCal TOs maybe run some Third Strike. It doesn't even have to be Jazzy. It'd just be nice if you all ran something for Third Strike, especially with the 25th anniversary. We got Perry this. I was alluding to earlier. Southeast Throwdown is going to be running their first ever offline event. Perry this in South Carolina. Again, shout outs to Southeast Throwdown, Gaming with Jimbo, Troy, Herb Durkin, the entire crew over there. Looking forward to seeing it. Already 15 players signed up for a big
Yes.
200 points.
Go support that shit. I know you guys are traveling. Go out there.
And to round out that weekend, we got Winter Showdown.
Bro.
Happening at Akihabara Arcade, the site of Jazzy Finale Weekend 2024. And so shout outs to Winter Showdown, trying to run their regional out there. The FGC community out there doesn't get a whole lot of press, but really dedicated, really
dedicated.
on top of their stuff. And so Winter Showdown, in addition to Third Strike, there's going to be a bunch of other games, modern games, retro games. And so really looking forward to watching Winter Showdown that weekend. The schedule is up, I think, and so definitely make plans. I think there's still time to kind of be part of that event. And so
Yeah, and I
yeah,
highly encourage anyone, if you haven't been to Akihabara
yeah,
yet, if
go
you haven't been out there, dude, you got to go check it out. That is
go.
an amazing venue, and Brandon does such a good job of, making it a welcoming and fun environment.
Yeah. Next weekend is gonna be packed, Katie. So next weekend is gonna start on Friday with 10 Frame Fridays. Shout outs to
Hmm.
Brendometry and Flannel for continuing again hold it down for Third Strike and NC. And then the following night we got four Jazzy ranking events.
On Saturday?
Yeah, on March
Oh
16th,
my God. The
including
auto
the auto
qualifier.
qualifier at Arcade UFO. And
Crazy.
so we got the Neko Dojo tournament. That's going to be like on the West Coast, so that might be airing a little bit later. So you guys should be able to catch that. Of course, you can always catch the VODs for all these events too. And so shout outs to Mustard Battle for
Mustard
holding it
ball.
down with Third Strike over in the North
Dude, dude,
PNW along with
I would be remiss
Zaffo.
if I didn't mention that the last time they had a ranking event, they got Caramelin from the Stupid Fighter crew to come out and play in
Yep.
that one. So that was cool.
Versaga also,
Yeah, I think
was in
Versaga
that
ended up
event.
taking that one.
Yep. Yep. Now there's another event that's going on that some people may not be aware of, and it's going on in St. Louis, Missouri, and it's an event it's a Third Strike tournament at an event called Fallen Garden. Um, I'm not sure if we've ever run or if there's ever been a Jazzy ranking event in
St.
Missouri.
Louis.
But I wanted to, kind of highlight this event because the person that's going to be running Third Strike at that event is none other than Arcade Random Posting, who is the person
Let's
running the
go.
Arcade Random Posting Twitter account.
Hell yeah.
Arcade Random Posting has been, behind the scenes, trying to, help Jazzy out with anything
Very
that they
supportive.
can. So,
Dude,
definitely.
he was there helping out when I ran Frosty last year. So,
Mhm.
shout outs to Arcade Random Posting.
And so definitely check out the information if you're going to be in the Missouri area for Fallen Garden. It's going to be, Fallen Garden is basically a FGC monthly held at a student center at what is this? The Millennium Student Center at, I think, the University of Missouri St. Louis, I guess. And so it's an esports center. All of the contact info is there if you want to, enter Third Strike. Uh, to me, this is like the most exciting thing about Jazzy, right? Like seeing all these like new venues start Third Strike, or try to get a scene going. And so, good luck to Arcade Random Posting on running his first ever Jazzy ranking event at Fallen Garden in St. Louis. You ever been to St. Louis, Katie?
I have not. I have not. I would love to go.
Yeah, definitely need to go there. And then of course we have the Jazzy Auto-Qualifier at UFO. Going to be an insane tournament. Expect a lot of high level play. And then, North Carolina is going to have two tournaments that weekend. On Saturday, it's going to be Tournament of Thrones 43. And then to close out that weekend, on Sunday, Chicago, Logan Arcade, the site of the next Jazzy Auto Qualifier, which I'm sure we'll
Ooh.
talk a lot about once
Yes.
the Arcade UFO Auto
What day is
Qualifier is
that
come and
happening?
gone.
The auto qualifier? What day is that?
I think like some day in April or something.
April? Okay.
Yeah, somewhere in the 20s, I think. But next weekend's Jazzy events are going to end on Sunday, March 17th. Chicago Handshake Series. Shout outs to the entire staff at Logan, 4C Joe, Zagran, Arshad, Mr. Part 2, all of the
Yes.
Third Strike players in Chicago. Looking forward to that ranking event. And so, yeah, then, kind of more events in March. We already
Dude,
talked a little
Max
bit about
mode.
Max Mode. That's already an S tier event. Indianapolis is going to have their second Jazzy ranking event, I believe.
Yes.
There's going to be something going on in Kentucky. We were talking,
Kentucky?
we were just talking about DFW, Hearst, Cedric of Arcade. They're going to be running another Jazzy tournament. And so, yeah, March is going to be pretty busy. And remember that one of the rules is you have to submit your event at least 2 weeks prior to the event. So,
Please,
you could
please
still squeeze in if you want to run an event, a Jazzy
get in
event in
there.
March. Join the party here. So yeah, and that's just the offline events, Katie. We haven't even talked about the online events. Like you were saying before, it's tough to keep up with all the
It
third
is,
strike.
man. It is. There's so much third strike, and there's so many
Yeah.
ways to compete.
And so let's take a look at these
Oh,
Jazzy online rankings. And so, because Neem qualified at the Cactus League auto qualifier a few weeks ago, remember that the top 2 players on the leaderboard are gonna qualify for the Jazzy finale. And so, like you were alluding to earlier, Nika well ahead in the
he's
lead,
got a lot of points.
but again, you know, we've only run what, like, half of them so far. I think we still have like 7
Yeah.
or 8 more to go.
So I think someone did the math, and if we reach MSF tier for the rest of the events, and Nika doesn't get any points, then someone could leapfrog him.
Yeah,
It's potentially there.
yeah. And also, like people said in the chat, any of these players could elect to compete offline and qualify that way. And
Yes.
so there's still some incentive to enter the online tournaments. Again, Neiman is no longer in the running because he's already auto qualified. And so that means in first place Nika, and then in second place Boa, Oro
Ooh,
player from the southeast. And so of course Amir is no longer in the running. And so right behind Boa we have Big Game James, SoCal
yes.
Ken player. And so it's, pretty wide open, I think, as far as, especially with, again, the option for any of these players to auto qualify by some other means.
You know
Um,
what my hope is, Mutant? My hope
yeah,
is that an online player does take one of these spots for the online ranking. Like
yeah,
just someone that we've never seen come out, someone that
mhm,
that's kind of the idea behind it. Is it would be nice to have some of these strong online players who have never come out to compete be able to have their chance to come and showcase what they have, on a bigger stage.
definitely agree. Definitely agree. And so go ahead and consider entering. We do 3 of these a month. And so the next Jazzy Online event is going to be run by our friends over at Casa Bunch. Shout outs to Bunch and the
Yes.
entire team. Casa de Azules Jazzy Online event number 7. Again, it's going to be our 7th event. We're about on the halfway mark. And so Casa ran their first ever Jazzy event last month. It went great. High level play, really great commentary, run really smoothly. And so definitely consider entering this Saturday. While you're watching all of the offline Jazzy stuff, then not only can you watch KD, but then you can also enter
Yeah,
the
you can
online
participate
event.
while you watch.
Yeah, so
You don't even
nuts.
have to put pants on, dude. You can you can qualify from
Pants optional.
I don't know. That's right. Pants are optional.
Someone could technically someone could qualify for the Jazzy finale without wearing any pants.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think we have a rule for pants, so
No,
that's a thing.
no. I mean, we defer to the venues, of course. You may not want to try that during the ranking events,
Socks required?
but
I think
online
Insilo's
events,
asking.
I mean,
Yeah, online events, any attire basically.
yeah, yeah. So, all right. Well, this was a kind of a long episode, but I liked it because we got a chance to do a little
Talk
story
food.
time, kill some events, including the Arcade UFO Jazzy Auto-Qualifier happening in March 16th. Shared some thoughts about the season. And so it's definitely cool if you came back, Katie. Maybe check in and we'll see how the season pans out. But
Yeah, man.
if you have
I'm
any
down.
questions, just tweet us those questions or write them in the chat and we'll get to those. If not, obviously tonight, maybe at the next Jazzy Talk, which is gonna come back on Tuesday. Not really sure who the guest is gonna be next Tuesday. I think we might have Rico to do one final push for the auto
I would
qualifier.
love to have DJ Isco on one of these episodes.
Yeah, definitely. So
Yeah, Insilo is correct, by the way. That is a keyboard stand. That is not a pogo stick. I wish I had a pogo stick.
mhm. So yeah, anything else you wanted to say before we get out of here, Katie?
I just wanted to shout out my local venue, Game of Dreams. Please go out there. If you're ever in the Houston area, you want to get some ST or some Third Strike in, please go support Donald and Game of Dreams. He has been basically a godsend for our local scene. That venue's awesome, and he supports us basically in any and every way that he can. So if you're ever in the Houston area, you want to get some Third Strike, definitely hit myself up, Caesar, Big Nasty, Gibcrem, Jay Win. If you see any of us at any of the events and you want to come make a pit stop in Houston, get some games in with us, we'll take you out to Game of Dreams, and then we'll take you to Glue Barandas down the street. So it's gonna be a good time anytime you guys come out here, and I just wanted to make sure that people know to support these guys.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And so yeah, like one more time, definitely consider coming to Austin next in a couple weekends to attend the Arcade UFO Auto-Qualifier. Looking forward to all the matches. And so yeah, until next Tuesday, we'll see you all at the next Jazzy Talk. Take care, everyone.